I truly believe in email marketing and the power of it. And I also really believe in creativity. I believe if I didn't have the creative brain that I've been working so hard to cultivate, I wouldn't have half of the success that I do. And I'm not even talking about just business.
Hello, my creative friend. Welcome to the Create.today podcast. This is a podcast where we'll discover the who, what, where, when, why, and how you can be creative or have more creativity. And together, we'll explore the extraordinary impact creativity can have in your life, in your heart, mind, body, and soul. And if we haven't met yet, I am Beth Buffington, a licensed artist, digital illustration instructor, and a creative coach living just outside of the windy city of Chicago, Illinois. But mostly, I am someone who is curious about how creativity can weave its way into our lives. Now, each week we're going to look at one or more of the sparkly facets that make up the ever-changing kaleidoscope that is creativity. Welcome, my friend, to another episode of Create Today. Today, I have someone that I am really anxious for you to meet. Her name is Liz Wilcox, and she is the fresh princess of email marketing. She is an email strategist and a keynote speaker who shows small businesses how to build online relationships and make some real money using email. She's best known for turning her $9 offer into multiple six figures, and she can help you untangle any email knots in your inbox with her Fresh Steps framework. She loves the 90s, she loves headbands, and she loves the beach. And I love that she is here with us today. Welcome, Liz. Wait until people learn about how creativity is a big part of your life inside your email framework. Welcome to Create Today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so thrilled to be here. By the way, I totally get why you listen to Beth. She has the most soothing voice of all time. We've been chatting behind the scenes before we hit record, and I was like, I could literally listen to this lady all day. I
Aw.
have got to binge this podcast. So I'm super stoked to be here. Thank you so much.
I know everyone is just as excited to have you here as I am, especially after they learn a little bit about who you are, what you do, and the secret to how you do it. And spoiler alert, so much creativity bubbles up out of Liz. I'm a member of her email membership. She makes you want to stay and listen to everything that she has to say because her ideas make you think, oh, I can do this too. So I am really glad to have you here, Liz. Let's explain a little bit more about who you are and what you do. So if you could just give everyone a little bit of your background, how are you doing what you do today? How did it get going?
Yeah, so first and foremost, to start with the end in mind, I am now an email marketer. Beth already mentioned that I teach small business owners how to get you off of social media and onto an email list so you can make real connections. But I actually started as an RV travel blogger. So I lived in my RV and I started Googling how to take care of it. And I saw all these blogs and I had gone to school to be a principal and a teacher, administrator, that type of education background. But I saw all these people staying at home, traveling the country in their RV, and I thought, well, certainly I could do that. It's so naive, so naive. Certainly it can't be as difficult as gathering children together and teaching them how to read and write. And so I started my blog and I just got really good at email marketing. Everybody in the biz, quote unquote, was saying, yeah, you want to do social media, YouTube, blogging, you want to do all that, but really it's all to grow the email list because that's where the real connection is and that's where the real money is. And I thought, well, I love connection and I love money, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start an email list. And so I started the email list, and I think just my background in education, loving people, going from being this shy kid to now people I think would describe me as an extrovert. I thought, oh, I can connect with people via email. And I love writing. I've always loved writing. And I got really good at email marketing. My friends would always ask me, Liz, you're a blogger, quote unquote, but you never write any blog posts. I said, oh, I just write emails. And so eventually the thought came to me, maybe my true calling isn't teaching people how to flush their black tanks and keep their RV tip top shape. Maybe I should be teaching this skill that I clearly have picked up on and mastered in the last 3 or 4 years. So I sold that blog and I went all in on email marketing, teaching people how to connect via electronic mail, if you will. And now I'm talking to Beth. I'm super excited.
It's interesting to see how the start of something doesn't mean that that's the lane you have to stay in, and that you can move to an area where you think, I actually really love doing this thing. I love that you were able to see that and then make that pivot and allow yourself to explore.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people have said that word pivot. Liz, you've pivoted a few times and I thought I have never pivoted in my life. I am on the straight and narrow. But to me, the vision was always to have a successful business.
Yeah.
The vision was always to find something that I could talk ad nauseum about and, make enough money to feed my family. That has always been the vision, right? But I'm super flexible on the details. And I think that's the mark of a
Mm.
true creative, right? You have a vision for the canvas of life, but you got to stay flexible, right? Oh, well, I'm going to draw this bird. And then you make a wrong stroke and you're like, okay, well, maybe I was going to draw a parrot, but now it sort of looks like an eagle. The vision is still there. The details are flexible for sure.
Yeah, I like that word that you use, flexibility. You're right. The word pivot, it does sound so corporate, but flexibility allows you to say, I like this, but now what I'm seeing might be a little bit different. What if I bend this other direction a little bit and stay passionate about getting up every day and doing what you've planned to do for a living?
Right, for sure. If I didn't have flexibility, I would have nothing, right?
Indeed. Indeed. So I like to talk to my guests and ask some things that are sort of outside the box, away from what you do every day. Let's
Yeah.
look at what you're doing, keeping your vitality up, your energy up, so that you can get your job done and make the money that you'd like to make. Talk to everybody a little bit about some tools, some techniques, and rituals that you're doing outside of business that you feel is really supporting what you are doing inside of business. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. So inside my business, I allow myself to be really creative. You name it, I've tried it in business, right? I've done something different even today. But I find those tools, those techniques, I think Beth loves to use the word ritual. Those are the things I need to be like rigid with so that I can be creative in my business. So I love running, I love exercise, and those are non-negotiables, right? There's no way that I can be as creative as I need to grow the business, which is a huge goal of mine, if I'm not rigid in other places like exercise. So, I mean, I've been running since I was 12. At the time of this interview, I'm 38. So I've been running almost my whole life. And so running really, really helps me in the morning, whether it's running or right now I'm into boot camp. I just really like to sweat. I really like to push myself in that way. I've also been doing hot yoga. And if you're not familiar with hot yoga, it's 105 degrees in that room, okay? But those are non-negotiables, whether I'm doing running or hot yoga. There's got to be something in my day where I'm moving my body, I'm oxygenating my blood, I'm getting everything flowing so that when I sit down, the creativity flows as well. Those are the physical things. And then, of course, when I'm feeling especially sort of down, if I've had a long week at work, things have just been pushing, I can just tell I'm creating new pathways in my brain. I always go to the water. I love the water so much. I love the water so much that I was living in Orlando and I finally had saved up enough money for a house. And I said, if I'm going to live in Florida, I'm going to live at the beach. And so I moved about 6 hours away, bought a house across the street from the water. I live 2 miles from the Gulf of Mexico. And yeah, just when I'm feeling, I don't know, sort of run down, tired, I always go to the water. Anytime I'm feeling like, ugh, just ugh, there's no other word for it. I'm just feeling ugh. Oh yeah, Liz, go to the water. So again, that's a non-negotiable I have. If this, then that. If I'm feeling gross, I go to the water. I love to walk in the sand, put my toes in the water. I'm there right now, visually.
Uh, there is something I want to unpack there. The word non negotiable. Okay, so let's look at a day. Liz, you've got a membership you're running, you're sending out your own emails, you're on podcasts as a guest. You told me you've had more than one interview today for podcasts. You're a busy girl. So you look at a full day and you think, I must get all of these things done today. How do you give yourself permission to do one of your non negotiables, to go running, to do hot yoga? I think a lot of people need to hear that these non negotiables are to you are priorities in addition to getting your work done. How do you give yourself the permission to do that and not just work, until
Yeah.
you drop and then go to bed and get up and start over?
Well, listen, I've done that before, and then the consequences are ugly. And so I
Mm-hmm.
just let that little ugly devil sit on my shoulder. Hey, if you don't do that, I'm coming for you. Right. So, really just keeping that top of mind. Why did I make this a non negotiable in the first place? I'm not perfect. I skip a day. I had surgery earlier this year. I was knocked out for a couple months, couldn't do much physical activity, but I saw again that proof of what happens when I don't. The same way we're creatives, we're listening to the show. The same way when we don't allow ourselves to be creative, bad things happen, right? So I just keep that proof sort of in my back pocket, on my shoulder. And also, when I do those exercises, when I go to the water, when I literally go to boot camp or run around the block a few times, I make a conscious effort to tell myself, see, don't we feel better now? Or
Mm-hmm.
now I'm ready to start my day. And so bringing it from the back of the brain to the front of the brain when I do these things, like even expressing gratitude to myself. Thanks for taking care of me. I know the workday is going to go easier now. So that helps make it a non negotiable. That helps make me sign my own permission slip every day. And y'all, to be honest with you, the last couple months have been crazy busy. I've built a business where I only have to work a few hours a day and I just pivoted. I just changed and now I'm working like 10 hours a day and I'm having to get up at 4 in the morning to get my run in or my boot camp or to work so I can go to hot yoga at the scheduled time. And it has been a lot of disciplined action, but again, it's, I know the consequences if I just worked 10 hours a day and I didn't take time for myself. I didn't take time to take care of my physical body and my mental body. And I don't like the consequences. And so I keep them in my mind. And that's that.
There's things that you said that we need to look at a little
Okay.
closer. First of all, one of the things you said that I love so much, and I talk about it in the podcast, and that is thinking about what you're thinking about. When you're out running, you said you like to take a moment to feel how you're feeling because what the running does, what being at the water does just for your psyche. When you take a moment, take a beat to say, I feel good, and I'm just going to think about how this feels to feel good, it actually makes you feel even better and it lasts longer. And it is you building those brain paths to say to your brain, I like feeling better. And that way it makes it easier to say later, yeah, it's okay to go running. It's okay to go to the water because it energizes me.
Yeah, I love that. Just real quick, today I went to a boot camp and it was a strength day. So we were lifting weights and I just was over it. I'm honestly, y'all, it's the end of the week. I'm tired. I've been getting up at 4 a.m. for months now and I just didn't want to be there. And I remember I was curling a dumbbell and my first thought was, this really sucks. I'm going to leave at halftime. And my second thought was, I am so glad to be building muscle today. And it is that what Beth said, thinking about your thinking, it is that metacognition, just truly that reframe. And that's creativity. It
Yes.
takes a creative brain to switch like that. And I was still tired, but I was grateful to be there. And throughout the different stations of that day, I thought, I'm glad I got up. Even though I'm feeling tired, I'm glad I got up. It's going to be over in 20 minutes and I can go get a protein shake, take 30 minutes before the kids get up. I'll be fine. And so, yeah, just let that be a testament to the power of your own brain and in changing your own mind and making yourself feel good, even in a situation where, you wanted to be anywhere else, but.
Yeah. That is so true. But the creative thing is to do what you said, which is think about what you're thinking about and what do you really need.
Mhm.
You have to be wise about it. But when you allow yourself to do those things, you feel good for the rest of the day. You're like, yay, I worked out already. I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm proud that I didn't give up. I'm proud that I was able to change my own mind
Yes,
about things, and then you think, like, what else is possible? What else can I do?
indeed. And then you also mentioned that you were used to working less hours, and right now you are getting up, you're doing more work, you've got more like 10-hour days. So this is a season that you're in right now. There are seasons where we just have to put our head down and say, this is what it is. And yet those non-negotiables still need to have time, because if you don't add them, you're not going to be able to get as much done with the capabilities that you have. Because if you're running on half a tank, your tank's going to run out halfway through the day. And then you're just going to be stranded on the side of the road. And the day's going to progress, but you're not going to get anything done.
For sure. And even right now, I mentioned, oh, I'm working 2, 3, 4 times as much as I normally do. But y'all, I did that on purpose. I was bored. I had kind of mastered my own membership. I only really needed to work like 30 to 45 minutes a day on it. If we were doing different projects, maybe I've got a couple extra hours a week, but really maximum I was working maybe 10 hours a week. And I really very much enjoyed that for 3 years. And now I was like, well, I think I'm ready for a new challenge. My brain is feeling good. And so I'm looking at it not like, oh, I have to work these hours. It's like, oh, I get to. I'm solving this new puzzle. Now let me gamify this so I can put the puzzle pieces together so that I can get back to working a couple hours a day. And then who knows what other new puzzle I'll put together next.
I love that metaphor. So now let's take a moment to pause for a word from our sponsor. And today's sponsor, well, that would be me. If the idea of putting down the weight of what you've been carrying so you can move forward with more freedom and happiness, if this is resonating with you, I want to invite you into the offerings here at Create Today. First, let's talk about my Create Today membership. This is a unique creative community that is built around using creativity as a practical, powerful tool for your well-being to enhance not only your personal life, but also your creativity. And if you're looking for something more personal, I offer one-to-one coaching where we explore your creativity, just you and I. We look at your goals, your plans, your path, and you can discover the unique ways you need to go forwards with your creativity to find the happiness in your creative life and in your creative goals. You can find all my memberships, my coaching, and all the Create Today resources at www.bdi-create.today. And you'll also find links to take you directly to the sign up and registration pages in today's show notes. My friend, you deserve a happier and healthier life and successful creative pursuits. And you don't have to figure out how to get there all by yourself. So come and create today together with me. So something else I want you to mention that is outside the realm of work, but is helping you to work is you mentioned to me how you like to change the way your office looks every so many months so you don't get stagnant. Can you explain a little bit more about that and just put some ideas in people's heads about what they might be able to do in their own life to do something similar?
Yeah, yeah. So I used to rent houses. Right now I own my house. I've got this setup where it's a little more stagnant. But when I used to rent, I would rent like a new house like every 6 to 12 months because I would be like, well, I don't feel creative in here anymore. Bye. You know, but really, it's just a way of not getting set in your ways. You sit in a chair long enough, you're going to have enough experiences of, I don't want to sit here anymore. I'm bored, or, oh gosh, work again. I mean, that's just, unfortunately, our brains just tend to go negative, even if you're super, super positive all the time. And so I've done little things like put different posters in the background. I spend a lot of time on Zoom, so I'm constantly seeing what is behind me. And so I'll change up posters, calendars, even I've got this big calendar in my background. Last year I bought a pink one. This year I bought a blue one, right? Just so it's different. Even though I prefer the pink, I had the pink for 365 days. Let's have a different color.
Yeah.
My microphone, especially now that my desk, I used to have a standing desk that would move around with me and I could work in different rooms. Now I have an actual desk, like a real adult. And so now I move my podcast mic in different places. Like right now it's to my left. A couple months ago it was to my right. Right now my camera is sort of to my right, so I have to shift my body. In a month, I'll probably change it to be directly in front of me. And then in a month, I'll change it to the left. Just really simple things. Oh, and one little hack that I've been doing this year that is really super fun. I'm trying this post-it notes thing. This year is the year of the post-it notes. So I wrote down all the things I want to accomplish this year. And every time I accomplish one of them, I take the sticky note and I put it on my door so I can see it. So I can see all the things that I've done. And honestly, it's also a visual. At the beginning of the year, it was maybe one or two stickies. Now it's like 25% of the door. By the end of the year, hopefully it'll be all filled up. So just silly little things like that go a super, super long way in, I don't know, tricking the brain or signaling to the brain, hey, this is different. I'm re-energized. I'm making new pathways. I can be creative again.
I love that one of the key words you said in there are simple things, subtle changes. You didn't say, so every 3 months I strip it down to the studs and I completely repaint and new carpet. And you're not doing a flip. You're just changing pops of color, right? It's things you can do quickly as you can so that you are not interrupting your flow, but you're freshening it up. So small things, those are big.
Yes, I've got a couple more for you guys. I'm a note taker and I write in my journal every day as I'm, going through my work day, and I'll put the date at the top. And today is a red day, but yesterday was a blue day and the day before was purple. And so just those different little subtle things, and even the sticky notes, I've got different colors. So today is a yellow day, right? But maybe tomorrow I'll write in purple, and I've got blue and pink too. And so it's just again, just a wicked simple way of changing up your work day, your workspace, just enough to again signal to the brain, ooh, this is fun, this is exciting, I'm doing something different.
Yes. Yes. Another thing that's really simple is when you go into your space, just spend a moment to be thankful for what you have and what you've done, and realize that you're always looking forward, and forward is full of questions and problems you haven't solved yet. But if you look behind you, you can see the view from where you stand right now. And when you're comparing that with where you started, you can always find some things to celebrate. I think that's the best thing about your door is it's really easy for you to see what you should be celebrating, Liz.
Yes. Listen, y'all, you've got to celebrate. You've got to celebrate even the little wins in my business with my students. We're a lot of us are high achievers, or we're really hard on ourselves. And the second we hit a goal, we make a bigger goal, right? We move the goalpost all the time. But, if we just even take a minute, hey, I did that. I'm super proud of myself. Those little wins add up to big confidence. And yeah, every day I look at that growing, or I'm like, hey, I haven't put anything up there in a couple weeks. Let me look through these sticky notes. Have I accomplished anything? Oh, I want to host a party at my house and have fun. I'm actually doing that this Saturday. I can't wait to put this sticky up, right? So I can celebrate in advance too. Like, hey, I actually put that on my calendar. It's so important to celebrate yourself because I think creativity wants to come out in a safe, warm, fun place. And when you're celebrating, what's more safe, warm, and fun than that?
I like what you said about your post-it note for something that you've accomplished is I want to have people over to my house and have fun. And that it isn't just, I want to have $100,000 month, or I'm going to add thousands of people to my email list, that they're not these giant goals that is like scaling a mountain, that you can have
Mm-hmm.
some things to celebrate that are as small as I had my friends over on Saturday and we had fun. Small things that you can do to celebrate, or small things you can use to celebrate, are super important. I always have fun glasses that I drink out of. This is a hand blown glass from a artist in Asheville, North Carolina. And every time I drink out of it, I think about her creativity. It's just the tiny things that perk up your day that allow you to feel a little creative. So, how has creativity helped you to become a more confident business owner?
I think just every time I lean into creativity, I'm rewarded with either, recognition. Hey, Liz, I saw that. That was a super cool idea. Or actual monetary, uh, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I love this. I bought it, right? And that breeds a lot of confidence when somebody recognizes the work that you do. Hey, I've never seen anybody do that before. Great job. Or, hey, I just had this $10,000 launch or sale. That that makes me want to do it more, right? It feels good to be recognized by your peers or your customers to be doing something that they like or that they, see as valuable. And it feels really, really good, especially with my stomach and the price of groceries, to have money in the bank. And
Yes.
so it's kind of this cyclical thing, right? I always say action breeds confidence. A lot of people say, oh, when I'm confident, I'll do it. But really, we've got to take action first because then we're going to start to see results. We'll start to feel confident. Then we'll take more action. But, it's to me, it's not a chicken or egg situation. The action truly does come first. And so when I think about my approach to things, it's always trying to, I don't know, zig when other people are zagging. And so if I see somebody has a podcast, oh, well, I'd like to have a podcast. How could I do it differently? What do my people really need? What do my people say they like about me? How can I put that into podcast form? And about a year and a half ago, I said, oh, I'm going to start a podcast. I'd never podcasted before. I started a daily podcast. It was 5 to 10 minute episodes. I pitched the exact same thing in every single episode. And then even within that, I got creative. On Fridays, I did Friday affirmations because we talked about that permission slip. A lot of people don't give themselves a permission slip. So I said, well, I'll write it for you. Let's do some affirmations. And that wasn't anything any other email marketer was doing, but I got so many of my long-term subscribers and customers saying, hey, I listen to your podcast. I love the Friday ones. I listen to
Mm.
those 3, 4 times in a row. And so again, and that bred the confidence because at first I had told several people about these affirmation things and they were like, I don't know, that's kind of a weird idea. Like, don't they just come to you for, how to make money or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but they want money, but what they really need is to believe in themselves, right?
Mm.
And so that's what I'm going to give them. And again, it was just that recognition. Yeah, Liz, I listened to those episodes and seeing those were literally my most downloaded episodes bred that confidence and helped me keep going for the last year and a half.
It's so important to understand what is unique about yourself. And then what is it about yourself that can help the audience that you have pinpointed? Finding out what their pain points are, what their transformations need to be, and then how you can serve them to do that in a way that is fun and it creates energy and allows them to have hope. And so clearly, your affirmations, that was a huge benefit for them.
For sure, for sure. And it was a little bit of a risk, right? A lot of my peers and said, yeah, Liz, I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. Leave that to the YouTubers out there, right? You can YouTube like affirmations and stuff. And I'm like, no, we need entrepreneur affirmations. But it was because I had already taken that action and seen those results of when everybody was charging $100 for a membership. I said, mine's $9, right? When everybody said you needed a quiz to get people on your email list, I said, no, I'm going to do this instead, right? And so I had already seen success being creative. And so it was a little easier for me to take that risk, quote unquote, to do the weird thing, right?
Yeah. Yep. And when you can find out what makes you authentic and what makes you a little bit different from everyone else, it just makes it that much easier for you to do every day.
Yeah. And I think what makes all this creativity stuff just I don't it's not innate, but it's so within me now. And this is something I haven't told Beth yet. I don't think we talked about, but I actually was in a creative competition club as a kid from fifth grade to 12th grade. And then I judged it for judging creativity, LOL, for about 5 years after high school. And it was called Odyssey of the Mind. So it's a creative competition for kids, and there's rules, but within the rules, you can go anywhere, right? It's like putting yourself into a box, but bouncing around the box, right? And so you would have to come up with a skit. You only had $100. There was no adult involvement allowed. You would get disqualified if they found out adults were trying to help you.
Love
And it
it.
really forced me to truly think about my thinking. The only thing the coaches could really say is, do you think that's the best idea? How are you going to do that? Little things like that. And so that became a voice in my head of, is that the best idea? What is everyone else doing? How could I do the opposite of what everyone else is doing? How can I do this more efficiently, more effectively, cheaper? And that has really, because you only have $100,
Yeah.
for a 9-month project. That is not a lot of money, guys,
Mm.
even in the 90s. And, so I think I've been able to translate that into my business, come with that confidence because I had been taking so much action as a kid and literally getting scored of, do you really think that's the most creative thing you could have done? Because we've seen it 3 times today. It's like, oh, maybe we could have dug a little deeper. And so that's really helped shape things for me. That's really helped me take bigger risks in my business and really also help my students cultivate that sense of self, that sense of creativity as well.
That is an amazing story. I'm so glad you shared that. When you apply knowledge you have of something creative, it doesn't mean that you now need to go and draw or paint or sculpt or knit, that you can take those essential key elements and figure out just how you can apply that to something that makes you think differently. That creativity is basically just how you are thinking.
Amen. I love that so much. And I've applied those principles, those key essentials to everything in my life. It's just innate in me now to be thinking outside of the box. Even we haven't mentioned this, but Beth and I talked about it before we hit record. I played that game Survivor. It's a show. It's been on for 25 years. And the host said, Liz, you've played the most unique, creative game I'd ever seen. Most people try to shy away from the topic of money. They lie about their careers. If they're a lawyer, they say they're a teacher. If they're rich, they say they're a pauper. And I said, well, I'm just going to exaggerate. I'm a decent business owner nowadays at the time of airing or filming that show. And I said, I'm going to pretend to be a multimillionaire. I've never even seen the show. My daughter loves the show. That's the only reason I'm on because I'm so rich and so bored. And it was just so out of the box because no one had ever done that before that people believed me. And people said, oh, this lady doesn't know what she's doing. Let's work with her because she'll do whatever we say because she doesn't know. Right. And so, again, it was just that outside of the box thinking, or that if everyone is thinking this way, how can I tweak that to go in a different direction, to do it my way? And that's what happens, I think, when you truly unlock your unique creative self is it just starts to spread, like Beth said, to so many different aspects of your life. And suddenly life becomes so, so fun.
So I look at what we've been talking about in your life, Liz, and that you're a travel blogger, you were on Survivor, you're running, you're doing hot yoga, and you are running a business about email. Now, a lot of people who are thinking, oh my gosh, how can you make email fun? Trust me, people, if you are part of Liz's universe, you look at email so different. I think a word you used is you love writing emails and they're like pen pal notes. So, again, the facet that you looked at in your email business is so different from what a lot of people, I think, would assume they should think about emails. You're just writing pen pal notes.
Yeah, just that's how Beth and I met, right? Y'all, if you can tell, I love people and I love talking. And so email was perfect for me. I also love writing. And so, when you think about email, it's one to many. I send one email to many people, but I was like, well, how can I turn it into one-on-one? And that's when email can become fun, where I can say, hey, pick a number. If anybody guesses the number 1 through 50 in the next 24 hours, I'm going to give them a free one-on-one call or, free year into my membership or whatever. And people are replying. I'm turning that into one-on-one. And, if nobody guesses, I can give away as many memberships or calls as I want anyway.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's my business. I make the rules, right? And so I just love people so much. I love helping them discover their thing and finding people that want to follow along with them. And so email just has really worked out for me.
Yeah, it's a great way for a lot of businesses. I mean, the number of businesses and what people are doing, the dichotomy there is giant. People who are in finance, people who are teaching things about parenting, and people who are doing things about creativity or how to train your dog. I mean, it's all over the spectrum, but it all boils down to how are you talking to your people and how you can get your own authenticity out of here, your head, and into the computer so that when people read it, they think, oh my gosh, you're reading my mind. You're giving me exactly what I need right now.
For sure.
There's a little finesse in doing that. And that's what Liz is so good at helping you with.
No, thank you so much.
Yeah. So tell me, what would you give to others for advice about being creative as a person? And then secondarily, creative as a business owner.
So we already mentioned it, action. I always like to say I'm on team win. What's important now? Because when I can isolate what's important now, that's when I can take the action, right? And I say it with love. I say it with so much love. Hopefully you hear that. Just stop thinking, start doing, right? If you try to get out on the dance floor and you think, oh God, like you're going to be stiff if you're thinking too much. What are people looking at? Am I moving my hips right? What do my wrists look like right now? Am I making a face? That's going to stop you from dancing completely, right? But if you just start to feel the music, you start to move, you start to groove, one day you're going to be able to dance, right? You're going to have some moves, baby. Somebody's going to ask you, "Hey, how'd you learn that?" Right? And so with whatever you're doing, business or otherwise, just start doing, start seeing. Right at the top of the hour, I talked about having that canvas and saying, "Oh, I'm going to paint a bird," and saying, "Oh, well, this kind of looks like a parrot." Then you make one wrong stroke. Oh, now it's an eagle, right? But if you just kept thinking about what kind of bird do I want to draw? What kind of bird do I want to draw? You will never make that first stroke. There will be no bird, no painting, no sail at the end, right?
Yeah.
So stop thinking, start doing. And that will also help you lean in and learn how to hear your gut.
Awesome, awesome comments to make. And you're right. If you don't get started, you're never going to get finished. Just do your creativity in the way that it's coming to you and allow yourself to have that flexibility that Liz talked about.
Amen.
Yeah. So, where can people find you right now? I know that you've got a lot on your plate. And so, talk about what you're doing and also talk about the new things that you're doing that you might want to share.
Yeah, so I am always looking to grow my email list. I'm an email marketer. If you have a business and you want to know more about how to connect and be creative with good old electronic mail, I am your girl. You can go directly to lizwilcox.com, hit the hot pink button in the top right hand corner. You can't miss it. It'll get you everything you need to get started with email. And then, of course, if you have any questions for me, you can hit reply to any emails. As far as new things that I'm doing, I've actually started a partnership with smartpassiveincome.com. A little known guy named Pat Flynn runs that channel. And I've been working with him on his community. He has a community called SPI Community where he helps people build their online brands. So I'm a little more granular email. I've really put myself in a box there, right? And he talks more broad spectrum. But over there, I've just been working to build his community, really impress upon people the importance of community, the importance of connection, getting creative together. And so I'm working over there on a lot of marketing and a lot of directing the community and working with his team on how to build that up. Because within my own business, I've built my membership, my little $9 thing, to about 4,000 subscribers. And when he heard about that and came into my community, he said, "Can you come over here?" And like I said, I had sort of built myself out of the membership where I only needed to be there a few hours a week. So I said, yeah, I think I've got some time for that. So that's been the fun little puzzle I've been playing with for the last couple months.
That's so cool. Just a little aside. I first heard about you through Cody Birch. And
Oh, I love Cody.
yeah. And so I think you were on his email summit earlier in
Mm-hmm.
January, right? So I saw you there, saw your headband. And then I listened to Smart Passive Income, the podcast. And I was listening to that one day and your voice came on and I thought, I recognize that voice. And then I realized who was talking to Pat. And that was the day you also mentioned your $9 membership. And I thought, you worth looking into. And so that is when I hopped on and started up my membership with you. So it's interesting just sometimes how many times you need to say things before people go, oh, I know you. I trust you. Let me find out more about you.
Oh, for sure. And I love podcasting, guest interviews, things like that, because I just truly believe in email marketing and the power of it. So I'm always happy to talk about it. And I also really, really believe in creativity. I really believe if I didn't have the creative brain that I've been working so hard to cultivate pretty much since the fifth grade, since I joined Odyssey of the Mind, I wouldn't have half of the success that I do. And I'm not even talking about just business. And so this has been such an absolute pleasure. I cannot wait to see what everybody does with their sweet little creative selves. And thank you so much, Beth, for having me.
You're welcome. And Liz, how can people find you? Let us know, where are you these days?
Yeah, I'm not really on social media a lot, but again, you can join my email list at lizwilcox.com, hot pink button. And if you want to see what I'm doing over on Instagram, sometimes I download Instagram and play along with it. That's Liz Wilcox at the Liz Wilcox. You can find me over there.
Great. And everyone, there, just check the show notes. I'm going to have live links to every place you can find Liz and a live link that will take you straight to her website. So you can sign up and find out what you need to know about email so you can reach your customers and have that one to many feel with the people who need to know about your creative voice. Liz, I am so glad you were part of our discussion today. Thank you so much for coming in to Create Today and sharing your unique view on creativity and how it has helped you feel grounded as a person and help you rocket to success in all the endeavors that you have looked at in your life. And I can't wait to visit you on future Q&As and see how your door is filling up with all of your celebrations. That is so cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening and thanks for having me, Beth.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Everyone, think about what you're doing right now with permission to those non-negotiables in your life. How are you taking care of your own creativity so that you can use the energy from the rituals you're doing to put towards the goals, the dreams, the projects that you want to do with your creativity, with your ideas, your inspirations, so that you can stay creative, my friend. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you so much, Liz. I appreciate you.